Hi and welcome to a brand new series of Partners for Life. I'm your host Chris Boudram, and this program is all about love, and it's for everyone actually. It's not just for people that are in love, it's also for single people, because we're going to be giving advice for singles, for married people and those who are looking for love. Well, today's topic is all about what is the definition of real love, because many people have different ideas about what love is. Some think it's more of the material things, like you buy people things, that's how you show your love, or you give them compliments all the time. But real love is actually sacrificing much more than that. Well, if you want to comment on this program, on this topic, and you have your own opinion about what real love is, you can email us on love@uckg.org. That's love@uckg.org. Well, I have a special guest with me here today, Fran Lewis. Thank you very much for joining us, Francesca.
Thanks for having me.
And you'll be also giving your opinion because you're married as well, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and you've been through a few difficulties before in your love life, so you'll be giving us some of your advice and things that have happened to you before, right?
Yes, I will.
Okay. Well, we also want to hear from you. So we've interviewed some people on the streets of London to see what they had to say about what they think real love is.
It's when you always consider the person before yourself in all aspects. That's my definition of real love.
Real love is just a word. Love is about trust and honesty.
I think it's being able to be free and giving love without necessarily having to get something back, basically.
My definition of real love is being able to see the future and not be scared.
Well, it would have to be, so you've got to have trust in each other, a bit of faith, honesty, and I suppose trust is the most important thing. Yeah, that's what I would say. That would be my definition of it anyway.
Okay, so is it enough, Fran, do you think, just to trust someone and that's enough to show them your love, do you think?
I think it goes a bit deeper than that.
Trust is important,
yes,
isn't it?
Yes, definitely. Trust is definitely a major part of a relationship, but I think it goes way deeper than that.
Oh, you're not going to give anything away now. All right,
no.
so let's go to our first point. The first one that we have is love cares more for others than for oneself. So basically, this is where you, as a person, you go without so the other person can have something. So, for example, you say you're in a relationship or you're married and you have a house and lots of bills and things to pay, and you really want something, you really want to buy something for yourself that month, and so does your husband or wife. And maybe you really need that thing, but because you love the other person, you say to yourself, well, it's okay, even though it hurts you, but you say, okay, I'm gonna let my husband, my wife, buy what they want this month. I'm going to put aside what I need, my needs, and I'm going to think of this person.
And I think that's quite hard for a woman to do, because thinking about myself, before I was the one always receiving, and I actually liked it. So after having to give, because now I'm married and I have to give to my husband, sometimes it's quite difficult, but when they see the joy and the happiness of the other person, it's actually worth it.
That's what it is, because sometimes, when a person's single, they just think about themselves, and they don't have to worry about letting the person know what they're doing, or anyone know, where they're going. They don't have to worry about how they spend their money. They just think about themselves. And when you're in a relationship, you can't do that anymore. If you really want to show you love someone, then you have to be different. You have to be more giving. You have to sacrifice many things. So that's a really important point. If you really want to show your love, or if you really love someone, then you sometimes or many times have to go without and do something that maybe you don't want to do. It's even, for example, your husband, for example, likes to go to the cinema and you don't like being in a cinema, but you say, okay, I'm going to sacrifice what I want to do because I want to make him happy.
And it's also giving without expecting to receive, because sometimes we like to give and then we expect that, okay, he's going to give something back to me. So, for example, I'm going to cook him a lovely dinner, surprise him, and I know that for my anniversary, he's going to give me something even better because I gave to him. But it's not always the case. Sometimes you have to be ready not to receive anything and, be okay with it, not be grumbling or moaning, because sometimes women do that as well. They don't receive, and then afterwards they hold a grudge, or they don't want to talk to the person afterwards because they didn't get anything. So that's completely wrong as well.
Okay. And we have another point as well. Love isn't jealous. And we're not talking about the normal jealousy that exists in any relationship, really, because, for example, if you know, you're walking down the street with your partner and like someone else tries to talk to your partner, you're going to be jealous, you're going to be a bit defensive. That's normal. That goes with any relationship. It's a natural thing. But we're talking about like rivalry between the couple. So, for example, it could be like the partner has a really good job and is doing really well, and instead of the partner being really happy for the person and like thinking, yeah, you know, he or she's doing really well, I'm so proud of them, it's like they feel, oh, I don't have that, why can't I have that? And they even get jealous, for example, if the person's more popular, or you know, they're funnier, or people like them more. And in reality, that shouldn't be that way, should it?
No, I don't understand that one of people being jealous of your own partner, of your own spouse. You should be naturally happy for them when they're succeeding, and that's what you should be working for towards a relationship, for both of you to be doing well, no matter what, really. So that's quite surprising sometimes.
You need to be supportive. If you really love someone, then you're behind them 100%. 100%,
and
even, you know, you don't care if they're more popular or they earn more money than you or anything. You're just, what you love is that they're happy and that they're doing well, and that's what makes you happy. It's not, you don't want to like, okay, take the limelight like a lot of people like to do. And you know, if you're in that kind of relationship and that's happening on either part, I would question whether,
is that really love?
If there's real love there, because it doesn't sound right to me. Okay, let's go to another point then. Love doesn't keep score of mistakes. Now, this is a big topic, isn't it?
It's a very good topic, because many times, isn't it? I think especially with women, I must say, every time a guy does something wrong or hurts them or offends them in some way, they'll always keep it in their heart. And, you know, they're supposed to let go of this. They're supposed to say, do you know what? It happened and that's it. I'm going to forget about it. I'm going to move on. But instead, they keep a record of it, and until to the point that it blows up in their face because they can't hold it any longer, and then it becomes an argument. It becomes a big problem in their relationship. So.
Yeah, but what if, Fran, like, okay, say it's in marriage now and the husband cheats on the wife. Isn't she going to bring that up at some point, do you think?
Well, that's why it's important for them to discuss that, isn't it? If she decided to stay with him and say, I'm going to work on this, so she needs to let that go as well. But to keep a record of it is only going to hurt their marriage.
Yeah, so. I know, because, you know, sometimes it's like, as human beings, and like, this is, you know, a mistake with all of us. It's like, we seem to be able to keep a mental record of every little mistake, everything that's gone wrong. And instead of, you know, looking at the person and seeing the positive things in them, we tend to remember the negative for some reason. And there were even studies done about this. They were studying brain activity, and they were saying that they were showing different images on the screen, and they found that whenever anything negative came up, like a bad picture of some kind of disaster or anything like that, the brain activity would be much higher. So it was like the brain seems to like keep things like that more. And then when it was something like, you know, of a puppy or like someone like hugging someone, the brain activity was much lower. So we have to be careful of that, because we seem to be wired that way, that we look at the negative things, remember the negative things. And, you know, we forget to see the good things in the person. So when there is an argument, it's like everything from the past gets dragged up. And like, you know, the situation with the couple, it's true, if, for example, in this case, the wife decides that she's going to forgive her husband and they're going to move on, then she shouldn't be bringing all the past up again, because they're never going to move on. But if, for example, she says, okay, you know, it was too much for me, it was, you know, it was a step too far, and it's better that you don't stay together rather than go through that.
I was also saying that it's just women, but coming to mind now, men as well can hold things, and they're very good at holding things because they're not very emotional. So rather than explain in that moment what the wrong was or what the problem was, they keep it. And then something happens, then they decide to bring that up. Oh, I remember when you did this, remember when you did that, and then it becomes a whole big scenario, and maybe the woman had forgotten about it, but then he brings that up, and then that causes problems as well between love partners.
It's good to start the day, every single day, afresh, right?
Exactly.
It's like whatever little argument you had, whatever bad feelings that you had, just, you know, once you go to bed, just put everything, you know, the sun's going to rise the next day, everything's new. You have to sometimes you have to think of it that way. Obviously, you have to resolve certain issues, you need to speak about them, but if it's just silly things, that don't matter. Just leave it in the past, just leave it there and just move on. But we want to hear what you have to say as well. So if you have any comments about this, if you have any experiences, or you have another definition for what real love is, you can email us on love@uckg.org. Well, it's time for a quick break and we'll be back after this.
Here is a quick trivia question for you to think about. What is the longest marriage ever recorded? Is it A, 39 years, B, 59 years, or C, 79 years? The answer will be revealed, so stay tuned.